I don't know what to tell you. This team's going all the way. I never doubted him for a second.
Oh, this is the year we win the cup, right?
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be the most Canucks thing in the world for them to go on a winning streak right now?
Well, the one thing I kept on telling myself earlier in the year was when the Canucks made the 94 Stanley Cup Finals, they were actually trashed that year, right? They barely made it. It was the year before they were unreal, right? The 92-93 season, they were unreal. And then they lost in the playoffs. And then the next year when they crapped the bed, suddenly they're in the Stanley Cup Finals. So maybe.
Like, honestly, like, wouldn't it be something else if the Canucks were just playing rope-a-dope all season and PD finds his form all of a sudden and Besser starts scoring and just everyone starts going off?
I think the thing I liked about tonight's game too is that was the fourth line out there when they scored the go-ahead goal. And then Tockett's like, you guys are playing awesome. I love the way that the whole fourth line is playing. So they kept them out there. And then Teddy Blueger gets his empty netter, which is good to, throw some bones those guys' ways.
Well, actually, at the end of the game there, he had all three centers out there.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was not losing that face-off, man. He's like, Blueger, Suter, and Petey. Yeah. All of you get out there, and one of you win that face-off and get the fuck out of the net, fuck out of their end. But yeah, great hustle from Blueger there to get to that puck, win that race, and just poke it into the empty net there. Good stuff. Yeah, back-to-back wins on home ice. That has not happened in a very long time. So very good stuff to see.
Well, it's funny too, like on the Kiefer Sherwood goal, I don't know if you saw it with Hoglander, that very subtle Sedin-esque pick. That wasn't enough to get a penalty, but it was enough to give some space, and that's all they needed. And good pass from Hronek. I was worried because we were talking about it. Every time I praise Hronek, he craps the bed. So, but the game's over now. So great pass from Hronek. He's been having a few of those lately. Some really nice assists coming out of him, filling in on the top as the top defenseman for this team. Been pretty impressive the last couple games.
Yep, and thank goodness for Lankinen. Mm-hmm. Definitely stole this one for us. The only reason we were even able to get that go-ahead goal was because of him. Many times Minnesota could have taken the lead tonight, and he didn't allow it to happen. You're obviously going to get the the old cliche, sometimes you got to win those games 2-1 to win championships and blah, blah, blah. And honestly, like, Minnesota is a playoff team. They are missing a big piece in Eriksson Ek, but still a tough team to play against. You saw how they just make it almost impossible to get the puck to the net. Like, the Canucks only had 20 shots on goal, but it wasn't like they weren't trying. It felt like they were trying to get the puck to the net, but Minnesota is a pretty good team defensively. They've got some good young talent on the blue line there, and yeah, I was just happy overall that the Canucks fought hard to stay in it, got that go-ahead goal, and then managed to seal the deal.
Oh, we might as well jump into the 3 stars then, because I think you'll probably nail it tonight. So what are your predictions for the 3 stars and a 3-1 win over the Minnesota Wild?
Lankinen, Pettersson, Hronek.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes.
In the order of Kevin Lankinen, your first star with a .974 save percentage and 1 goal against. Hronek is your second star with 2 assists. Again, another 2 assists a night for him. And then Elias Pettersson with 1 goal, the first one to start the game, with your third star. So you nailed it. And easier than the last game, I would say, to get 3 stars.
Well, and like with Hronek too, they weren't just assists; they were primary assists. Like the pass out to Sherwood for that one, a great look, and then finding Petey on the power play there. So it was pretty easy tonight to pick 3 stars. I mean, Lankinen stopped 37 to 38 shots against. That's number 1 star performance all day. Hronek two primary assists. So yeah, like and Pettersson almost had a second goal there towards the end of the second, where he drove towards the front of the net and just lost at the last second there. But really good stuff to see from him, looking a little more confident, looking like he wants to drive the offense a little more. He's still hesitant to drive to the middle.
Mhm.
I saw a couple times tonight when he was going across the blue line with speed. He was doing the old Mason Raymond where he would turn towards the boards with his back to the center of the ice
Mhm.
and turning away from the play, which really slows down any rush or anything like that. But at the same time, he's playing with Joshua and Garland, who are kind of grinding and not necessarily keeping up with the play the way he was. So he was kind of having to turn back and wait for support. So the next step is maybe getting him back with maybe DeBrusque and Besser and having those guys start heading north and driving the offense. I really like the makeup of that Hedel, that second line with Hedel, O'Connor, and Lekermacki.
Mhm.
Even though they didn't generate anything, any actual goals tonight, I think the speed and the chemistry they could generate and learn together is really good. They move their feet through the neutral zone and make it hard for the back checking forwards to catch up. And when they do catch up, we saw O'Connor draw that penalty in the first period there, and that's where that speed is valuable.
I think I'm still thinking about that Dakota Joshua. You know, I feel like flipping the centers, Suter and PD might be the right way because I feel like Dakota, the last 2 games, he has looked out of his element,
Yeah,
which is unnerving because leading up to these 2 games, he actually looked like he was playing a lot better and actually getting back into form. So I think it's probably time. I don't know if they probably don't change after a win, but or maybe Dakota just needs another minute to get his feet under him. But there's a few times like he just doesn't seem like he's hard on the puck.
yeah. I think I think it's that last piece, that last step, um, and that might maybe push Besser too because they've kind of laid the gauntlet down to challenge him to earn his contract, I
Mhm.
guess, so to speak. Um, put them with Petey and DeBrusque and say, "Go do it, boys. You guys are our top three." I mean, they're supposed to be the three best forwards by way of paycheck.
Mhm.
So they should be the ones kind of playing together and getting it done, in my opinion. That second line looks very serviceable with Lekermacki on there, and he's
Mhm.
going to bring some offense.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm annoyed at how the trade deadline went, but if they can play the right way, like this team does have the pieces to make it in the playoffs. It's just hard when it's been so inconsistent all year and you don't know what to expect. But if they could find consistency, like Talkett was talking about yesterday, who knows what the hell's gonna happen, man? Like,
People always ask me what's gonna happen to the Canucks game. Like a lot of my regulars come and be like, "Oh yeah, who's gonna win tonight?" I'm like, I don't
yeah,
know, man. And every time I think I know, then I don't. And then when I think that I know that, so I shouldn't know because that's how things go, then it goes the other way.
yeah. Well, and I think it's a we need that third game in a row. Like that's where I'm looking to this next game Sunday against Dallas. Like that's a big measuring stick because that's a team that made a big move to put themselves in position to go for a Stanley Cup. And so that's a big measuring stick in the Western Conference. Like that's who you gotta meet or beat if you do get there.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can play the way they with the energy they brought tonight and against Anaheim, it's going to be a really good game to watch on Sunday.
So we have to start having the conversation about how the Canucks record with Quinn Hughes in the last 20 games is terrible, and the Canucks record when he's out of the lineup is really good.
No, no, we don't.
Well, I mean, I think the
We don't need
thing
to start that sort of stuff.
when he was back, it was clear that he wasn't 100%. And they're like, "Oh,
Oh,
we're gonna have 7 defense and we're gonna ease him out." Oh, he played more minutes than everyone in the whole game, right? So they clearly screwed
yeah,
that up. So I think the fact that they're able to pull these 2 wins off without Quinn Hughes says a lot. I mean, obviously Minnesota's missing Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek, so those 2 guys are obviously a big part of that team. But when it comes down to like talent for talent, Quinn Hughes is probably one of the most top 5 best players in the whole league. So getting him back is almost like our own trade deadline getting someone. Maybe.
sure. You could look at it that way for sure. If we want to try and come out of today with a bouquet of roses instead of the stink we had earlier, you can put whatever spin on it you want. I'm all for it. What I liked tonight was it looks like we have the 12 forwards that we should have out there playing.
Yeah.
And I just think flipping those centers will be the next key. And I just want to go on record and say that if PD continues on this trajectory and turns it around, there are so many clips of me defending him to the death on YouTube that I will be going through to create the ultimate short of PD defense.
Brutality Blood says, you better win against the Stars. Fair enough.
All right.
And then Death of Bleeding Blues. Let's go. My team wins too. Yeah. Did you see that, Dustin? The Blues are 1 point behind the Canucks right now in the standings.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
No. Luckily, 2 games more played. So there is that. But not to bring things down, but we did say we were going to talk about the Abby Canucks. They're playing out in Abbotsford tonight against the San Jose Barracuda, a team that they seem like they've played 100 times already. Friday night hockey for Abbotsford. How are things going for them?
Not great. Not a great night down there, down the Highway 1. It was kind of a game you would hope they would have won. It's an important series. They're chasing the Barracuda in the standings. In the playoff race, essentially trying to stay in that 6th position. Barracuda are in the 5th position, I think, just 1 point ahead of us. Some penalty trouble in this game. Second period, the Canucks giving up 2 power play goals to the Barracuda to go down 2-0, and then shortly after that, giving up a third to go down 3-0 in the second period. And they are now in the third with they have just wrapped up down there with a 3-0 final. So Abbotsford did direct 35 shots on the Barracuda goal, but unable to get anything by their goalie tonight. A lot of big pieces from the Abbotsford lineup are missing. Obviously, Lekermacki, DPD, Mancini, Oman, all up with the Canucks right now. So really only Ratu and Baines down there. The defense is kind of depleted, so they're going to need to retool a little bit with their lineup, because it looks like, for all intents and purposes, given the transactions that were done today before noon, I didn't see DPD on that list of players that were sent down in time to be eligible for AHL playoffs. So, I mean, with that said, it looks like he's with the big club for the rest of the year now. So they're going to have to prepare themselves to be without him. And he was a big part of the majority of their special teams, especially their penalty kill this year. So he was having a rookie of the year type season in the AHL defensively. So that's a big hole to fill. Now they know he's not coming back. So we'll see how they can take what happened tonight and work things a little bit in the video room and come back tomorrow, hopefully with a better effort.
Yeah. Come out of the series at least only down by a point if they can win tomorrow night. I don't know if you'll know the answer for this, but for Willander, because he should be joining the Canucks in some capacity, either Abbotsford or Vancouver at the end of his college season, is he eligible to play in the playoffs for the AHL Canucks if he comes over from college?
I do not think so. I don't know. I'll have to dig into those rules a little bit. I think he would only be eligible for like the Canucks big club in a playoff capacity. But I'm not sure. And honestly, I think he'd probably just come up to the big club anyways as a 7th D man.
Yeah.
Just once there's no roster limits and stuff like that, if we are making a playoff run. Otherwise, they'll just send him to Abbotsford to finish the season and get some experience with a pro team.
I guess most of the time when a college player comes and joins the team, it means that the team is probably not going to make the playoffs. So that's why we've never had to ask the question before with the Vancouver Canucks, at least.
Yeah, we've never really had a prospect that's going to make the jump to the NHL. I guess Hughes was probably the last one who went to the Frozen Four, and then kind of came to the Canucks and played a couple games, and everyone was like, "Oh my goodness, look at this kid," and got us all excited for the next season. But maybe Wielander is that the next guy to kind of do something like that.
What do you want to see from Elias Pettersson against Dallas to follow up on this performance?
A couple more of those one-timers on the power play. Continuing to drive the front of the net like he did towards the end of the second there. And hopefully he gets maybe Besser and DeBrusk back on his line. And with the way he looks to be a little more confident in pushing the play, the way Tocchet has been talking about him, I think it's maybe time to give that line a try. Have a little faith in those guys to be your goal scorers. That's what you've asked them to do, so let them do it. I think, yeah. I don't know. I want to be optimistic about it, but it just scares the hell out of me because of what we've been through this season. So I do think we will see a good game on Sunday against Dallas, and who knows? They said Quinn Hughes could have been a game time decision tonight. So if we see him suit up against Dallas, we could be in for a really good game.
All right. I'm going to get you to answer a question for Noah, the New York Rangers fan. Y'all, is Carson Soucy any good?
Carson Soucy is a good defenseman. He had a bad year this year, but there is a reason why goalies have career years when he is on their team in front of them. He does have a good defensive mind, and I think just this year there was just too much on his plate, a little too high expectations, and I really think he is a top four guy. Like he's a 3-4 guy in the right system, but just this year for whatever reason couldn't find any consistency in his game.
Yeah. And then we paid him like a top four. So that's probably why they moved on from him, because he would not fit into the top four on this team, because we've suddenly become deep on D. I'm going to knock on wood for that one.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Dallas game coming up Sunday, 6:00, a little bit of an earlier start, just probably because it's a Sunday game. Dallas obviously picking up Rantanen. Will probably be in the lineup for that game, barring any kind of like troubles at the border or something like that. Even though it's an American team, he is coming to Canada, so who knows what's going on with the work visas and all that, but it should probably be fine. What do you expect to see from the Canucks against the Dallas Stars? Like, do you think we're looking at building on the momentum, getting the third win in the row, or I guess it's like toss a coin and see what happens?
Well, I hope they build on the momentum. It's going to be a tough task. That's a big team coming in here. They just traded a 5'8" guy for a 6'3" guy. So that's a big swap in size. I think it might take them a minute to get some chemistry with Rantanen on that top line. So there may be a bit of an opportunity to capitalize on some mistakes. But obviously we'll still need to be careful. Dallas is no joke. And then they have Ottinger in net. So it's never an easy task when the Stars come to town, and there's always that ownership rivalry of Gallardi owning the Dallas Stars and Aquilini owning the Canucks. So there's always that little extra to these games where it seems to add some bite to it. So the Canucks will have to be ready for that. Dallas does have a snarl in their game. Jamie Benn likes to mix it up and push guys around. So they will have to bring everything they got. It's going to be like a Stanley Cup matchup. Dallas is prepping themselves for a big run. they're going to be focused and come out of the gate hard. So the Canucks will not be able to sit back the way they did tonight against Minnesota. That's one thing for sure. Dallas has a few more scoring threats than Minnesota does right now. So we'll have to be a little more aggressive and try and push the play into Dallas's end more.
Are you going to be there for the first intermission on Sunday, sir?
I will be there.
Cool. Awesome. Anything you want to say to chat before I let you go?
Thanks for stopping in and continuing to have faith in this team. I know it's been tough. I was having a tough day today. Probably one of the most melancholy days I've ever had as a Canucks fan, but I'm making it through. I'm here for you guys, and we'll be here again Sunday. And have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, have fun spending the rest of the night with Katie. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
You too. And give Dobby an extra treat tonight for the big win.
Hundo P. Have a good
Talk to you later,
night, brother.
bud.
We'll talk to you soon.
Nothing is perfect.